2020 Board of Commissioners regular session. Madam Clerk, will you please take the roll?
Commissioner Jake Smith.
Present.
Commissioner Steve Frisbee.
Present.
Commissioner Derek King.
Present.
Commissioner John Miller.
Present.
Commissioner Gary Thompson.
Present.
Commissioner Kathy Zubetti.
Here.
Commissioner Rochelle Evans.
Present.
Thank you. We're going to have a moment of silence, but before they do that, I'd like to acknowledge a few folks that we've lost in the last couple of weeks. Keep in mind Russ Densmore, who's a road department employee who lost his mother Elizabeth last week. And then Chief Mike Jackinet was asked me to speak on his behalf tonight. He couldn't be here. He wanted me to talk about Conrad Sint. Conrad had a long career in Calhoun County, serving the citizens here in many different modes. He began his career as a patrolman with the Albion Police Department, worked his way through and became all the way up through to chief judge. Conrad passed away last week in a tragic accident at his home outside. And I just want everybody to think about Conrad and what all he offered the citizens of Calhoun County, and think about his wife as well. So after that, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Bed.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. May I have approval of the agenda as submitted?
So moved.
Support.
I have a motion to approve the February 20th Board of Commissioners regular session as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Approval of the minutes. May I have a motion to approve the minutes? The Board of Commissioners February 6, 2020 regular session is presented.
So moved.
Support.
Have a motion support. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Citizens' time. The next item on the agenda is citizens' time. During citizens' time, the board chair shall recognize any person wishing to address the board. A person recognized by the chair shall approach the podium and state his or her name and community of residence. A person may address the board only once on the same matter during each period set aside for citizens' time on the agenda, and only on matters that are relevant to county government. The chair shall control the length of time each person shall be allowed to speak, which shall not exceed 3 minutes, and shall not allow negative personal comments. Is there anyone that would like to address their commissioners? Get the timer.
Commissioners, can you hear me okay? I wanted to discuss for just a few minutes about the Renew for Seniors and placing the senior millage on the ballot. I've had the pleasure to serve on the Senior Millage Allocation Committee for the last 3 years. The Renew for Seniors ballot committee has already been formed. We've actually had 3 meetings already. So if you don't put it on tonight, we're going to be really disappointed. But we're hopefully you'll do that tonight. The co-chair of the committee is Sherry Sherman, who's here tonight. We've actually, this area of the audience is all people that are involved in the committee, very involved and very looking forward to getting started. Calhoun County Senior Millage, I think, is a real gem of Calhoun County. The staff serve many people across the county and fund countless programs, from Meals on Wheels to physical fitness classes to senior centers in Albion, Marshall, and Battle Creek. And I actually saw Commissioner Tompkins where we're talking about having a new one down in
Union City.
Union City.
Yes.
So we're looking forward to having that as well. Again, that's a big part of socialization for seniors, programs for seniors, a lot of different things. Also provide things like dentures and hearing aids and classes. And through smaller grants that the Senior Millage has done over the years, has funded programs as diverse as Neighborhood Gardens in Albion, exercise equipment for the Marshall House here in Marshall, the fantastic Talents Out program, which is always one where Helen says, we're going to bring in a presentation, we're going to make sure, see if you guys want to vote on this. And I said, wait a second, we're going to send veterans to Washington, D.C. so that they can see the nation's capital. When do we vote? Why do we even have to have a presentation about that? Wonderful program. We've also, over the years, partnered with other organizations to leverage the taxpayer funds to put other programs together and do more with taxpayer dollars. The SMAC committee, the Senior Millage Allocation Committee, has been good stewards of the taxpayers' dollars. Each funding recommendation is carefully considered, and I mean carefully. And Gary is our chair, Commissioner Tompkins is our chair. We sometimes have long and really good conversations about before we make decisions. But I think that's how you make good decisions, is to have those conversations and do those things. And again, we treat each dollar as our own. We make the recommendations to you, and then when you go on and pass those things as part of the budget. So we are really excited tonight to have this in front of the County Commission. We hope that you'll put it on the ballot. Again, it's going to be on the August ballot, and we're looking forward to getting it renewed. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Rich.
Sir, can you state your name and residence?
Did I miss that, Chair?
You did. You sure did.
My name is Richard Lindsay. I live at 15509 17.5 Mile Road in Marshall.
Thank you. Anybody else would like to address their commissioners?
Everybody knows him.
Thank you, Commissioners, for this few minutes. I would just recommend my support for the senior millage renewal.
And you are?
Carl Gibson, 323 Westbrook Court, Brewer Farms Condos.
Thanks, Carl.
Since 1996, when the first millage was passed in this county, and then the Department of Senior Services was really created in 1999, we've celebrated a lot of new ventures with the senior services money. The senior millage has allowed and supported innovation in services, generated and supported, and some actually copied by other counties. We're because of how this senior millage is set up within the county, there's only about maybe one other county in the state of Michigan that does not run their money through either an area agency on aging, community action, or a separate nonprofit organization. So you have a lot more control here. You are not having to hire staff to do the services, which most counties have to do. So you've really worked with the agencies that are already in place, and you just support them with funding. This includes the senior fair, the senior centers, centenarian lunch, dental services, a lot of collaborative ventures that Richard's already talked about in honor flights. So there's a lot of things that this county has to be proud of. We've had state officials here for some of the events and the centenarian lunches and such as these. So I want to thank you for your support. Renewal is very important. There's thousands and thousands of people that benefit from it. Thank you.
Thank you, Carl. Anyone else? Anyone?
My name is Charles Baker. I live at 110 Highfield Road, and I'm in very much support of this. I actually was on a Talons Out flight in November. So
cool.
all veterans really appreciate this. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, we'll move on. Elected and appointed county officials' comments. Looks like the sheriff.
To be quite honest, last week I
Forgot.
forgot to put a quarter down there for you, so I can put 3 down tonight.
Thanks.
Last meeting, I had the opportunity to announce my retirement from the sheriff's office in the county. I did not share with you who I would like to see replace me in the appointment process and in the next election, but I do want to put that support out there publicly to Detective Sergeant Steve Hinckley. He is the one person that I know in the entire of Calhoun County that is ready to step in and do the job on day one. We have been putting him in that place, and he has been working with Under Sheriff Tim Hurt, who plans to stay as well, Chief Deputy Randy Hazel. Tonight he's meeting with the Calhoun County Command Union to meet with those folks. So I just want to publicly, again, it does matter who sits in the chair of sheriff, and we need to make sure the right person is put in there, and not only at the appointment process, but in the election process here in 2020. So, and if I didn't say his name, it is Detective Sergeant Steve Hinckley. And in case you didn't hear it, Steve Hinckley is going to put in there.
Can you say it one more time?
Say that again? What was,
All right. Any other elected or appointed county officials? John?
Good evening. I just want to give a quick update. Weight restrictions, we're getting a lot of calls, wanting to know if those are going to go on. We've been monitoring the situation. Quite honestly, there's not a lot of frost in the ground right now, so we're not putting them on. We're not imposing them at this time. Several counties around us are, other counties are not. It just kind of depends, and we will continue to monitor it. And if we decide to actually impose those, I will send an email so the board is and county administration is well aware of it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Special order of business. We have the Albion Homer United Way certificate presentation presented by Marcia Starkey.
Marcia Starkey, 419 Allen Place in Albion, and I'm here to present to Helen a certificate, and it reads, "Congratulations and thank you, Calhoun County, for your outstanding leadership and contributions to the Albion Homer United Way Employee Campaign Fall 2019. The Calhoun County campaign went up over 40% from the previous year, so we want to acknowledge that hard work and appreciate those contributions and for our community. And Gary is on the Albion Homer United Way board, so I'd like to take a picture of the two of them.
Go on.
Absolutely.
I've chaired the United Way campaign, co-chaired it for the last 2 years, and I want to thank Derek King and Matt Saxon for providing leadership and doing the cookouts and making it fun for employees. We're going to miss Matt this year. Matt did something really, he might have been the one who took us over with the Homer United Ways, because he split his donation between all 3 United Ways because he wants to be a true county supporter. So he split it between Albion, Homer, Marshall, and Battle Creek, because we're a unique community that we have 3 United Ways. Most communities do not have 3 United Ways. So it's up to employees to make a decision which United Way to support, and Matt led the way with his leadership this year. So I think Marcia should come join us. I think she should too. Yeah. I know.
Yep.
which way do we want to go?
You're going to blind the camera, Steve. You have?
Is it shiny?
Congratulations, everyone, on a successful campaign. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Support.
A motion support or any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Special committee workshop and board reports. Commissioner Tompkins.
Thank you, Chair. Just one this evening. The senior millage met on February 7th, ironically, as we're talking about that. At the February 7th meeting, we approved year-end adjustments for fiscal year 2019. We talk about approving mini grants for the Albion Marshall Connector, the Albion Healthcare Alliance Commodity Coordination that will be taking place, and also the Neighborhoods Incorporated for Housing Rehab as well. We held a discussion relative to our tour of the Haven of Rest and what the committee's role may be in the future relative to that. And then also we had at the February meeting, Linda Grapp, who is the Program Director of Senior Health Partners, provided a report on services that SHP provides including providing a tour of the new programming location at 28 Penn Street in Battle Creek, which is right next door to the YMCA in Battle Creek. So a lot of things happening certainly at the Senior Millage Committee, and we do a lot of good work. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? New business? We don't have any unfinished business, so we'll move on to new business and the county administrator's report. Turn it over to County Controller and Administrator Kelly Scott.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Today I was able to attend a session of our Veterans Treatment Court with Judge Frank Line convening that. He also, as all of our problem-solving courts, has a team of professionals that meet with them before court and review all of the participants and decide what the best outcome for them should be. Our VA Director, Aaron Edlifson, was there also and was able to tell them that money, pending your grant approval tonight of the new state grant, some money will be going to our Veterans Court to help participants buy some needed supplies, so that was good. There were 11 participants, and 10 of them succeeded without sanctions. One of them had to be detained in the jail, probably for his own protection, his own self-interest. So it was always good to witness what happens in our treatment courts. They're very good programs, and I'm proud that the board continues to support us operating those. Other boards and committee updates, our County Visitors Bureau Board met on February 11 with Commissioner Vetty convening that. We met at the Kellogg Arena, and we approved our new 5-year strategic destination plan for tourism. The Veterans Affairs Committee met on February 12th, and again heard about the new state grant that hopefully you'll approve tonight, and also took action on several Veterans Relief Fund applications. That fund is also slated to have increased funding for this year due to the new grant. I attended this past Tuesday the Battle Creek Unlimited annual Economic Outlook event at Kellogg Arena. The Battle Creek Unlimited reported a whole lot of progress towards their 5-year strategic plan in Battle Creek, reporting that they created 260 new jobs, invested about $67 million of capital, so a lot of economic development going on in Battle Creek. And then they also brought in a national economic development consultant who talked about the latest trends, and she focused a lot on what we've been hearing over the last year, which is if you want to attract businesses, you have to have talented workers here to work at those businesses. And if you want the talented workers to be here, we need to make this a place for people to want to live. So the placemaking concept, focusing on downtowns, providing schools and hospitals and parks and recreation opportunities. So it sounds like a lot of momentum and on the right track. They also continue to emphasize that we need to remove barriers to people getting to jobs, one of which is obviously transportation. So our countywide transit study is almost complete, and it will be really important that we figure out how to implement plans to have countywide public transportation. And I think that's it for my report. Under new business tonight, we have 9 items. So we'll start 12B1, it's page 52. And this is the approval of the Veterans Affairs, Michigan Veterans Affairs Agency grant. Aaron is here taking leave of absence from very important training, so happy to have you be able to go first and talk about all of the 8 projects that this $108,000 of new state funding will help you do.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As Kelly said, I'm Aaron Edlifson, Director of Calhoun County Veterans Affairs. Chuck Baker and Trina are on our committee, and they were so kind to join us tonight. The grant, as Kelly mentioned, is approximately $108,000, and it's bifurcated between advertising to get veterans and families into our office, and then some new programs and some enhanced programs that already exist throughout the community. We're pretty excited. It's a diverse list of programs. Should impact a large number of veterans and spend those dollars appropriately. So after a motion, if there's any questions, I'd love to address them.
Can I have a motion to approve the Michigan Veterans Affairs Agency MVAA County Veteran Service Fund grant as presented and authorize the board chair to sign on behalf of the county?
So moved.
So moved. Support.
Have a motion and support. Is there any discussion? Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Commissioner Frisbee?
Yes.
Commissioner King?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Tompkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Buddy?
Yes.
Commissioner Hatcher?
Yes.
7 yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Aaron.
Thank you. Item 12B2 starts on page 111, and this is a revised county remonumentation plan for your removal, or not removal, approval. This comes from our Community Development Department, and Director Jen Bomba's here, along with Brent Thalen, who manages this program along with our GIS program. So just a little bit of, I'll kick it off and then hand off to Brent. This is required due to legislative change in 2014 that requires all counties throughout the state to update their remonumentation plan and submit it by March 1st. So it's quite timely that it's before you tonight. And it basically updates and adds to the inventory of the corners throughout the county that our grant funding in our program will allow us to mark, and then also requires a long-term monument maintenance plan, which hasn't been formally required before. So we're nearing the end of I don't remember how many decades-long plan to update the corners that help with property location throughout the county. And so the goal is the state wants all counties to be consistent and have plans that will be in a central place for the public to find. This is a grant-funded program, like I mentioned, and I'm going to hand it off to Brent now. What else did I miss?
You pretty much hit it all. They called this a revised remonumentation plan. Really what it was an amendment. When they made changes to the plan in 2014, one of the things that they did was they added, we have the technology, we should have GPS coordinates on these, and they made that mandatory. It wasn't mandatory before. There was also some other issues with plan, vague language. I don't know how many corners you're doing. Well, when we originally did this, we said do the GLO corners. Well, centers of sections weren't required. Centers of sections are property controlling corners, so maybe they should be done. So they didn't care which ones we did. They just wanted us to define what they did. So that was step one. Step two was we didn't really have a plan for what we were going to do with maintenance. So when we get into maintenance, how are we going to maintenance? There was some vague language with who could be in your peer group. We don't care who's in your peer group. You define that, so we defined that. And that's pretty much it. They just wanted some things tightened up. We'll wait for a motion, and then I'll answer questions.
Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the 2020 Calhoun County Revised Remonumentation Plan as presented and authorize submission to the state of Michigan?
So moved.
Support.
Have a motion support. Is there any discussion? Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Commissioner Frisbee?
Yes.
Commissioner King?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Tompkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Buddy?
Yes.
Commissioner Hatcher?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Motion carries.
The next item goes along with the remonumentation plan and the grant that you already approved back in December. So every year following that, we enter into independent contracts with the surveyors who actually do the work. So this is that item 12B3 on page 161. So there are 6 licensed professional surveyors. I think they're the same as the same
Yep,
people
they're the same ones we've had.
We've
Correct.
had in the past. They'll get paid a little over $11,000 each, fixed contracts for this year. A little bit of an increase. So the whole program is roughly $100,000 a year, most of which is grant funded, a little of which comes from part of the money that the Register of Deeds office collects for deed recording. And that will also help to provide the ongoing funding for the maintenance program once the state decreases the grant amount going forward, with the assumption that counties should be done at that point. So this is, the contracts have been reviewed by Jim Dyer, Corporation Counsel. I think they're the same form as in previous years, and we ask for your approval.
All right. Can I have a motion to approve the 2020 Survey and Remonumentation Program surveyor agreements in order to carry out the approved 2020 Survey and Remonumentation Grant as presented, and authorize the Administrator Controller and Board Chair to sign on behalf of the county?
Support.
I have a motion support. Is there any discussion? Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Commissioner King?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Tompkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Buddy?
Yes.
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 Yes. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Fred. Item 12B4 is also a community development item, and I think Jen Baum is going to help with this one. This is an extension of our Albion Community Recycling Center agreement. So this has been a partnership with the City of Albion since 2014. So there was no residents recycling like we have our Marshall Recycling Center here. City of Albion was contributing about $7,000 at the time out of their budget just to pay the companies to haul away the recycling, and it just wasn't very effective. It wasn't user-friendly. So the county agreed to put some upfront money from our solid waste fund in to invest in the infrastructure. It's on land that the city owns. And so the city continues, the financial deal is the city continues to pay $7,000 towards the operation. County makes up the difference. It's close to half-half. The county probably puts in more when we consider our staff time. And we're recommending just a 6-month, month-to-month extension with the hopes that Albion City moves forward with their plans to consider curbside recycling for their residents as part of their single hauler trash contract. And I think that's in the works at this point. But the city did approve earlier in February, this extension. Their new manager and board apparently is supportive of continuing to partner with the county. One of the other issues that I guess led to the discussion about curbside is that there are structural problems with the facilities that we're using that the city owns. The building that we use for storage has got a bad roof, and it's just not ideal for our staff. So we'd really like to close the center and have curbside recycling for the residents. I asked Jen and Sarah Kelly, who manages the program, for information on who uses the Albion Recycling Center. And I don't know, this is based on a 2-week period, so I don't know if it's representative sample, but basically it's about 145 cars come through there per week, and out of those about 125 of them, or 85%, are residents within the city zip code. So very few come from the surrounding more rural townships. Nevertheless, we're hopeful that if the city can provide curbside recycling for their residents, and we have still the agreement with CNC Landfill for all county residents, there shouldn't be any negative impact when that happens. In the meantime, this contract expired in December, so we're wanting you to approve retroactively to January the extension.
Okay.
Could I cover that?
Yep, absolutely.
Can I have a motion to approve the Community Recycling Center Agreement extension and modification as presented and authorize the board chair to sign on behalf of the county?
So moved.
Support.
Have a motion support. Is there any discussion? Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Tompkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Benny?
Yes.
Commissioner Hatcher?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Commissioner Christie?
Yes.
Commissioner King?
Yes.
7 yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you to Jen and her staff. It's a lot of work to manage the recycling centers, partly because it requires volunteer work. And it's just tough to manage all of that, and the public being happy and unhappy at times, and the weather. So we appreciate that. Next item is 12B5, the senior millage renewal ballot language, which you heard about during public comment. That's on page 167. The plan is for the August 4 ballot. It's the same millage amount, which is why it's a renewal, 0.7452, which is rolled back due to the Headley Amendment. 10 years, which would take us through 2030. And at this point, it generates about $2.8 million, which is a little conservative, but that's our best estimate from equalization at this point. And the language is similar to what we've used in the past for countywide special voted millages, and has, I think, been vetted with the Senior Millage Allocation Committee, and our Corporation Council drafted that for us. And Helen, you want to add the speech about how many people and how many programs?
I do. And I want to thank the ballot committee that's met 3 times. Richard Lindsay and Sherry Sherman have agreed to chair it. Carla Fales is our secretary, and Diane Peters has agreed to be our treasurer. So we're on our way. The Senior Millage Allocation Committee did not vote on the language specifically, but they are very much in approval, and they considered that at our last meeting in February. So as you know, it was first passed in 1996. The Office of Senior Services was created in February of 1999. We do 10 special events. We do the Centenarian Luncheon. There's 3 staff. Our annual report, you're going to get a report of the annual report. Kate Turner, our new program specialist, has finished it for us. In 2019, we served 6,568 seniors in our 21 different programs with 11 nonprofits, including the health department. The health department didn't feel like they could do the outreach as well as other senior provider, and so the hearing and vision program in 2020 has moved from the Calhoun County Department of Public Health to CareWell Services, and CareWell Services has been doing the outreach for the hearing and the vision. Those 10 nonprofits that run our programs, they're trusted, they do a good job, we do assessments every year. So we have no wait list for Meals on Wheels. There's an on-the-ground article about the Senior Fitness and Fun program. We have exercise programs every day of the week, 13 sites around the county. 487 seniors exercised almost 12,000 times through that program. It's a great program. So, and also when you're approving this, you're also approving a budget adjustment to create a Senior Strategic Project Fund. This is a strategic project change. We have not budgeted personal property tax reimbursement and the Fire Keepos Casino payment in lieu of taxes that we've gotten every year for many years, and we were increasing our contracts more than what we were collecting in taxes, and that was making people nervous. And so senior millage struggled. We had a 5-5 vote, and we got it to an unanimous vote approving the Senior Strategic Project Funds. We're going to take $700,000 of our fund balance and put it out in an RFP for one-time projects to help Heritage Commons establish a permanent location, maybe to help a Union City senior center renovate. It's really creating one-time projects for innovation around the county. We would issue it in March. It would be due at the end of May. We would make announcements in June, and we would replenish those dollars with the personal property tax and the fire keepers' dollars. So there's a budget adjustment in this, and all those, once the Senior Millage Allocation Committee and their subcommittee reviews those grants, they would come to you for approval before probably the end of June or beginning of July. So you would approve all that spending. So we have 13 members of the Senior Millage Allocation Committee that do a great job overseeing. We did a needs assessment I really feel proud of our very capable staff and the very capable Senior Millage Allocation Committee. I think they do a great job, and we appreciate your support of Senior Millage. And I wouldn't want, when a senior who's living on a $1,000 a month, then when their furnace goes out, Community Action goes and replaces it through your senior millage, through our tax dollars. We help seniors solve problems. I'm just proud of us. So thank you for your support.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to approve the ballot language as presented for placing the senior millage renewal at 0.7452 mils on the August 4th, 2020 ballot, and authorize the Calhoun County Clerk and Calhoun County Administration to take all the steps required by law to place the renewal of the Calhoun County senior millage on the August 4th, 2020 ballot?
So moved. Support.
Having a motion support, is there any discussion? Commissioner Tompkins.
Thank you, Chair. First of all, I echo the comments certainly that Helen has put forth this evening. We've got 13 incredible people that do an incredible job. Richard Lindsay made a comment about the full vetting process. It really is. Sometimes people get a little agitated because we take a little bit longer, but we really fully vet each and every item that we have on our agenda, which is really something to be said. And we've got a great staff, from Kate to Laura to yourself, Helen. We're just in a really good situation right now. So certainly, just wanted to certainly echo those comments. Great job.
Thank you. I just wanted to add something. Carl talked about earlier that we had become a model. And I've had conversations with county commissioners from just about every area that touches us and from around the state about what we do and how we provide services for for the county seniors, and they're impressed with what they do, with what we do. Often counties have a building, and that's about it, and some services within inside of that. We have multiple buildings, we have multiple programs, and we're serving as many people as we can with what Helen said. And we're doing a great job with it, and I'd like to see that continue. So I hope everybody can support it. Commissioner Miller?
Yeah, I just want to say I'm honored to live in a county that we can support. Something like this is probably one of the most important villages we have between this senior village and veterans village, and I'm very honored that we can help the people that have dedicated their entire careers, their lives to our communities, and give back a little bit to them. So thank you.
Great comments. Anybody else? All right. Madam Clerk?
Hold on. How many seniors was it again? 6,500?
6,568, which is 100 more than we helped in 2018.
Thank you.
All right. Madam Clerk, can you please take the roll?
Commissioner Tompkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Betty?
Yes.
Commissioner Hatcher?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Commissioner Frisbee?
Yes.
Commissioner King?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
7 yes.
Motion carries. Good luck.
Yes.
We appreciate all your efforts in behind this as well.
All right, item 12B6 comes from the Health Department. They're requesting some staffing changes. Our Deputy Health Officer, Bridget Rickenbaugh, is here. In bottom line, and she'll explain this, but the bottom line is within the Nurse Family Partnership Program, it's a decrease of close to 1/2 of a full-time equivalent employee, and within the WIC program, it's a net increase of 1 person. And I really like that the focus is, in both of these cases, to increase the outreach to the public and to improve customer service. So those are good reasons to request more staffing, especially when there's funding to go with it.
So with some recent management changes and a small reorganization, we've had an opportunity to really look at our programs and our staffing within those programs. And specifically for Nurse Family Partnership, we have 3 current nurses right now and feel there's a great need to increase that throughout the community to potentially add another nurse, reach more clients that are in need of that service. So by removing a clerk and adding a full-time program assistant, they can help with outreach throughout the county, not just in the Battle Creek area. And with WIC, we had nutritionists and dietitians, program technicians answering phones. Well, they need to be back and really serving the clients. So by reshifting some of that staffing, we're hoping to add a full-time clerk to have somebody specifically answer the phone and potentially have one of those clerks be for me speaking so they can serve the client right from the beginning all the way through the visit. It may pull a clerk into a room if interpretation is needed, but we're hoping with the staffing we can better serve the client and increase our outreach efforts.
Can I have a motion to approve the changes to the authorized staffing allocations for the Calhoun County Public Health Department as presented, along with any necessary budget adjustments?
So moved.
Support.
Have a motion support. Is there any discussion? Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Commissioner Betty?
Yes.
Commissioner Hatcher?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Commissioner Frisbee?
Yes.
Commissioner King?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Tompkins?
Yes.
7 yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next 2 items relate to our road department. 12B7 is page 173. Our managing director is here, John Midgley. So this is another MDOT contract, which we present to you every time there are federal or state funds that help with a road project. This one is most exciting because it requires the county to pay 0. So this is contract number 20-5040, resurfacing of Bellevue Road, and it's in Convis Township. So also, John wanted to make sure that we mentioned that the road department was able to do this project partly because we purchased some extra federal aid dollars from Branch County, Berry County, which is an allowed state program that we've been able to take advantage of several times over the past few years. And so in this case, it's about well, it's close to $1 million project. The federal funds will provide about $750,000, and then Convis Township is agreeing to use their funding to cover the 20% required match for the county in order to accelerate that project, which they see as a priority.
Right. We did talk to them up front before we bought the additional federal aid from Berry County. With their commitment, we did buy the federal aid for 85 cents on the dollar, so for $637,000, we got $750,000 to use on this project. So it's worked out well.
Okay. So how much money come out?
Hang on, Tommy. That's all right.
Sorry.
They have a motion to approve the Michigan Department of Transportation Contract 20-5040 and authorize the County Administrator Controller and Board of Commissioners Chair to electronically sign necessary documents to execute the contract upon review by legal counsel.
Support.
Have a motion support. Is there any discussion? Commissioner Miller.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Come out of our general fund for this, to buy this?
$637,500, bought the $750,000 in federal aid.
Okay.
And that was all budgeted for this year. So.
Anybody else? I would say that it finishes a project that began probably about 2 years ago with Bellevue Road that was used BCAT federal dollars. So that'll take that road for its entire length from the county line all the way into the city of Battle Creek and be resurfaced. And that's a major thoroughfare for folks coming from that Bellevue area into Calhoun County.
Yes.
So
this project is just a little over 2 miles in length. So.
Yeah, great. Any other discussion? All right, Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Commissioner Hatcher?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Commissioner Frisbee?
Yes.
Commissioner King?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Tompkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Betty?
Yes.
7 yes.
Motion carries.
All right, item 12B8 is also related to the road department. This is a purchasing item. So recommendation for dust control contract with Michigan Mineral Resources, IV Michigan Mineral Resources out of Albion. Short, we call it IVMMR. So this is for the brine application on gravel roads, and it was a joint purchase with Calhoun and Jackson County's road departments. And I'll ask our Assistant County Administrator, Brad Wilcox, to present the item.
So it was another, as Kelly stated, a joint bid. We did receive 2 bids, one from Great Lakes Chloride in Grand Haven, Michigan, and the other would be IV MMR out of Albion, Michigan. After a bid evaluation, we determined that IV MMR was the lowest and most responsive bidder, and we're recommending them for award. Again, we're able to use a local contractor, which is great. The bad part is we're continuing to see pretty constant increases in all of our contracts. We had a trend moving into probably 3 years ago. We were saving about 7% on each contract, and now we're seeing 7% increases pretty consistently. In fact, this is about 28% higher than the previous bid we did. If you annualize that, that was a 3-year fixed rate contract. We're moving forward 3 years. It's 4 to 6% a year, which is still troubling, and I think it's incumbent upon us to sit down and maybe convene a group of contractors and find out, is this real? You know, we hear there's no inflation, but we know labor costs are going up. You know, is a 3-year bid better than, you know, this is one of our few multiple bids. Are we setting ourselves up for contingency pricing? You know, do they see all these federal and state dollars flowing through and transpiring into their opportunity to increase bids? And there's more business out there. So, but I think it's kind of conjecture until it's time maybe to bring in the contractors and, you know, give them the data that, you know, we're continuing to see these increases, and it's not sustainable for us. We can't continue to maintain the same number of road miles while we're paying 7% a year, you know, additionally for all of our materials and services. So it's a, you know, this is a good service. The Albion company has provided a great job, and we want to continue on with them. That's good business. But absorbing, you know, 4 to 6% a year over literally a 6-year period is not sustainable. So We're recommending them. It's about $400,000 a year for over a period of 3 years. It's about $1.2 million for the two agencies, Jackson and Calhoun.
Can I have a motion to approve the contract with IBMMR to provide dust control services for a 3-year period in the amount estimated at $393,800?
So moved.
Support.
Have a motion support. Is there any discussion? Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Commissioner Fisbee?
Yes.
Commissioner King?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Tompkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Betty?
Yes.
Yes. 7 yes.
Motion carries.
All right, the last item under new business tonight is 12B9. It's on page 260. This is our annual administrative services agreement with the Firekeepers Local Revenue Sharing Board. Same terms as in previous years. The Local Revenue Sharing Board approved this at their meeting on February 6th, which has a typo in the information you have on your cover memo. It still references last year's date. But they did approve it on February 6th. It provides $30,000 for the calendar year into the county's general fund unrestricted revenue that helps to recoup our costs of administration. So basically, I provide the financial record keeping and the banking, and we do the communication, their website, send out information to the public about applications, et cetera, and it's really worked out well. This is the 11th year we've been doing this.
Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the administrative services agreement with Firekeepers Local Revenue Sharing Board as presented and authorize the board chair to sign on behalf of the county?
So much.
Support.
Have a motion support. Is there any discussion? Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Commissioner Fisbee?
Yes.
Commissioner King?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Tompkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Betty?
Yes.
Commissioner Hester?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
7 yes.
Motion carries. Citizens' time. Our next item is citizens' time. Same rules as apply during the first citizens' time. Please limit your time to 3 minutes and no negative personal comments. Is there anyone who would like to address their commissioners?
Hello. I'm Sherry Sherman. I'm from Battle Creek, Michigan. Do you need an address? Okay, good. All right. Anyways, I just wanted to say thank you for your support of the senior millage. They do wonderful, great things, and they touch the hearts not only of seniors but the lives of their families, and it makes a big difference bringing them to the community. So just wanted to say thank you.
Welcome. Thank you. Anyone else? All right, we'll move on. Commissioners' time. Any commissioners? Come on. Commissioner Tompkins. You always batting lead off on this.
On a serious note, I have to say, Chair, you put it very well when you talked about Judge Sent, certainly in the recent tragic passing of the judge. I will say he was not only a great judge, but he was also a tough constituent, too, I will tell you. Living in my district, believe me, if there was something on the agenda we approved, he would certainly give me a call and talk to me and make sure that everything was kosher. So, but ironically enough, in all seriousness, the Friday before that tragic accident, unfortunately, we had a conversation for about 7 minutes. He had asked me about a particular item that we had passed at our recent county commissioners meeting, and spent 7 minutes with him on the phone and hung up. And little did we know that, unfortunately, the tragic accident would occur a few very short days later. So certainly, I want to extend our condolences to the family, and they're in our prayers and thoughts. And again, we just don't know sometimes when you hang up the phone and that person may not be on the other end in a very short period of time. So thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? I was just going to mention that I forgot to say his wife's name, and that was Peggy.
Oh, Peggy. Yeah.
And Peggy's been a very involved person in this community
Most
as well.
definitely.
So
Yes. Yes.
I know it's been a tough time for everybody. And thanks for mentioning that. All right. Anybody else? Claims payable. Can I have a motion to approve the claims payable for January 31st, 2020 through February 13th, 2020 in the amount of $2,707,719.82 as presented?
So moved.
Support.
Have a motion support. Is there any discussion? Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Commissioner Fisbee?
Yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Tompkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Betty?
Yes.
Commissioner Hilcher?
Yes.
7 yes.
Motion carries. Announcements. And now from the 7th District, Commissioner Thomas.
Just like clockwork, right?
It is.
Thank you, Chair. First and foremost, this next Saturday, February 29th, the 35th Annual Walk for Warmth will be taking place beginning at 9:30 a.m., specifically in the 7th District. I know there's other places in Calhoun County that are doing it, the Albion First United Methodist Church. Come on out and walk a mile with me for a great cause. So it'll be a great time on that Saturday morning. And then later that evening, also on February 29th, come out to the Homer VFW, which is located on M60, for the Super Saturday Cook-Off. That will be happening from 5 to 7 p.m. All the soups you can sample, and I will have a special one cooked up just for everybody, so be prepared for that. All proceeds go to Veterans and Youth Project, so it's a great opportunity. It's just $10 a person, and come out and support our veterans. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
What kind of soup is it?
I can't say. It's a surprise. Exactly.
He doesn't know yet. He doesn't know what's on special. Right. All right. No other comments or announcements?
Yeah.
We are adjourned.